Hello everyone, Nikki here. I'm going to talk about how you develop more presence today. I think it's a great topic, and the reason I'm excited to talk about this to you is because I've just been doing some interviews recently with ex-clients, and I also asked for some feedback from people from my list to find out what is the barrier for you becoming more successful in your field, what gets in the way. And a big piece of feedback I got was self-consciousness, or finding it difficult to promote yourself in situations where you might meet people who might want to buy your work, or they might want to hire you. So say you meet somebody in your industry, a great director, a famous person, or somebody you just love to have a relationship with, and the barrier is that people find it really difficult to stay authentic in those situations. So there's two ways that people go. Either they become very self-conscious and start thinking too much and they shrink a bit, or they end up trying too hard and becoming a bit bombastic and trying to impress the person. But both of those things end up the same way, in that you repel people instead of creating connection with them. And this was really common for people. So that was fascinating to hear. So I thought I'd teach you a really great technique today to help you to stay present and to have presence, so that you can attract people towards you. You can come across as somebody exciting, dynamic, and you do not have to act this. This is not about acting, it's the absolute opposite. A technique that I'm going to teach you actually helps you to become more authentic, because actually that is the art of having presence. People with a lot of presence really remain authentic. They're able to feel comfortable in who they are. They're able to connect with other people because they don't have that inner dialogue going on, doubting themselves or bashing themselves down, which is what happens to many of us, especially when we're trying to move our businesses or our careers on. So the technique I'm going to teach you is so simple, it will make you laugh, but it works. It works brilliantly. So let's look at presence a bit longer now. So presence really is about walking into a room and your energy emanates from you. You're not blocked in your energy, and your energy isn't all scattered all over the place. You have the kind of calm serenity, but you also have an aliveness. That's the state that helps someone to have a lot of presence. So the way to access that state is dead simple, actually. And the technique I am going to teach you is called fascination. It's all about being fascinated by everything around you, fascinated by simple things in life. Because if you can access fascination, it stops you going into self-destruct, fearful thought mode, okay? So this is the technique. I want you to find something in your environment and just pick it up. It could be the most boring object in the world. I'm just going to pick up a pen because that's just an inanimate object, and normally I do not notice this pen. I just use it, and I'm not present when I'm using the pen. I just pick it up. So I want you can pick something that's beautiful if you'd like, but you can pick something terribly ordinary. And if you don't have anything and you're just sitting on the train listening to this, you can even look at your hand. So the next step is you pick it up and you observe it as if you were seeing it for the very first time. And I want you to become absolutely fascinated by this object. So even as I'm talking about being fascinated, I'm noticing my mind's going into a different state. So I'm looking at a green dot on my screen at the moment, and for the first time ever I'm noticing it has this sort of lime colour right in the middle, and it's glowing, and there's a little green circle of a different colour, slightly sort of more deeper green just around it, and I've never noticed that before. So that's what this exercise is. It's about noticing things you've not seen. So pick up your object, and you might want to just turn it around. You might want to put it in different lights, and I want you to just really get fascinated by it. So as I'm doing this, I'm seeing there's a sort of really interesting pattern of the ink in the refill in the pen, and it's sort of creating a really interesting sort of like, there's like little gaps in it. And I'm also noticing now there's some ridges and it's making me want to touch it. Oh, it's making me want to go bring. And as I'm doing that, I'm hearing a little bring in my head, which is fascinating. And then there's a shininess here and I want to touch the tip. And you might want to play with it on your skin. You might want to rub it on your feet, just whatever your instincts want you to do. But what we're doing here, we're getting into the state of presence. We're really being present with our object. And it allows us to really access our sensors instead of slipping into our brain. So that is the exercise. It's so simple, but it really, really helps us to be more present. So how this might translate to something that you need to do. So say you need to go to an audition or you're going to a networking situation and there's someone you know that you need to speak to. How could you use it then? Well, it's exactly the same thing. If you can do that just before you go to that scenario, so on the tube on the way, get fascinated with your hand or get fascinated with what's going on in the tube carriage, it will get you into the state of presence. And then you'll walk in with that same state of mind. So when you meet the person, either you'll be in that state of mind, so that there's a sort of glow about you and a warmth. So instead of you repelling them by going, oh my God, you're amazing, interpreting the person that you've met, you are present with them because you're in that curious state of mind and you're able to see the person as a person instead of this impressive figure. So that really helps. And it gets you into a state of calm. But the other good thing about it is what happens when you're in the state of presence, you tend to become more interesting because what happens is you notice things that are going on. So you might turn up to an audition and go, oh, I just had this really funny scenario happened on the train. This guy was sort of like going like this, and you might have a funny story or something's just happened, because when you're present in life, you're more engaged and actually magic starts to happen when you're in that state of mind. And we all want to work with people who have a sort of magic about them, a sort of a presence, an enthusiasm and a passion about them. So it is exactly the opposite of trying hard, and it's more that your energy is just more authentic and connected. You're connected with the world. So that is it. So what do you reckon, gang? I'd love to hear how you found that exercise, and I would love it if you would let me know underneath this blog what you thought of it and what you noticed. And if you are not on my email list yet, make sure you get on my list, which is my website is nikimoran.co.uk, and you'll get a free ebook when you sign up. So it's lovely to speak to you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.